to the Rembrandt Gallery. They sold 5, the Bolsheviks sold 5 off to the British when they were short of cash at some time. They also sold 6 Fabergé Easter eggs. They sold them to the British for $250 each in the 1920s. Now they're selling for, well, £2 million is the cheapest so far, but the sky's the limit. These are Rembrandt. There are 26 of them in here. These are all Rembrandt from his early period. This is a very famous one on the end. This is his wife. She died in childbirth, and it's a painting called Woman Trying on Her Earrings. He appears in quite a number of his paintings. His wife is obviously his model. He's an old Jewish neighbour of Rembrandt, and he concentrated on the hands and his face. The face implied suffering, and his hands were an indication of his work. And it was the dark period, Rembrandt's dark period. This is the Return of the Prodigal Son. It was probably the last complete canvas of Rembrandt. It's very, very fragile. It's never been moved out of the he died in penury, did Rembrandt. It's a great shame. The Leonardo da Vinci's, of which there are 2. But every single room is just absolutely stunning.
So do you know where is the dress of Leonardo's time? So Madonna Benoit, Leonardo da Vinci. So in a minute we'll see the second one.
This is the Madonna and Child. It's one of 2 of only 14 Leonardo da Vinci's which exist. And the Hermitage has 2 of them. And this is just one. So this painting is worth millions and millions of pounds. And the frame itself was made by Leonardo.
I might find
Wonderful. Baggio, the boy with the lute. It's the only one in the museum. This is Peter and Paul by El Greco with their sort of elongated faces and sort of long hands. It's just one after another. I mean, you just don't know when it stops. There are hundreds of them. Hundreds.
Turning back, I take you down to the coffee shop area on the Welsh.
These are the French paintings. These are Renoirs, of which there are several. Some of which are instantly recognisable, like these 2 here. And this is a very impressionist painting. Quite indistinct. Along this wall is a collection of Monets. Again, impressionist painting.
When I think of my stuff,
Do you actually paint?
no,
No.
just so dreadful.
This is a stack at Giverny. And this is another garden, probably down in the south of France. You get the reflections of the window, unfortunately. The paintings are covered in glass. And here you see the poppy field. This is Montmartre in Paris, 1897, painted by Pissarro. These are all by Cézanne. I'm not a great fan of Cézanne. I mean, I think that is absolutely dreadful. It looks like rosemary topping on a bad day. Who am I to know? It's probably worth millions of pounds. Again, more by Cézanne. Some of which are very nice, as you would expect. French Impressionists. Lots of French people here. Here the French guide in the background. This is just called Houses Along a Road. Why these things are so valuable, I have no idea, because this is, I've seen better than that locally in England. I don't see anything at all in that. This still life where you've got black lines around the fruit, seemingly no highlights. It's, look at those grapes there, they don't strike me as particularly appetizing. So no, Cézanne, not for me. So this room contains Van Gogh. This is going out to work. This is landscape, which has a ploughman. You have to look very close to see the ploughman. White House at night. There's a portrait. Thatched cottages, even if you didn't know anything about the thatched cottages, you instantly recognise Van Gogh. It's almost as if you painted it with a blunt piece of wood, dipped into paint. That again he probably did. This one is simply entitled Bush, and it has the same typical Van Gogh technique to it. Although just to highlight things, he does put little lines around them. If you notice, they're little black lines, just so that those leaves stand out a little better. So there you've just got sort of plain leaves, and as you move up, you'll see the little black streaks, just to make them stand out. It's almost as if that little bit there hasn't been finished. This is the memory of the garden at Eten. Again, typical Van Gogh. Not very good at perspective, it would seem, but very, very valuable, very, very childlike. Arena et al., which no faces, just sort of black lines. It reminds me very much of Lowry. He used to draw black lines around his figures and around his roofs. You see black lines there around the lady's arm, highlight of the lady's collar. This is obviously Gauguin, who went to Tahiti, and these are the paintings he obviously made out there. Tahitians, usually young buxom girls, but not always. figures again. Oh, this room is full of work by Matisse. I can't see the appeal of it, but it obviously appeals to some people. But this is obviously some later work. Another huge red piece. Dishes and fruit on a red and black carpet. What a great lover of that, ain't there? This is a view of couloir, again, big blocks of paint, almost as if he's painted it with a stick. Like a lolly stick. Still life with dishes and fruit. Again, I just don't like it at all. That's even worse. Sunflowers in a vase. Again. This is entitled Fruit and a Coffee Pot. It's all very much like 19th century Damien Hirst store. They obviously must have had rich patrons. If I saw that in a shop, I wouldn't buy it. These are by Picasso. Very lifelike for Picasso. He could do nice portraits on the chap's smoking a pipe. Monsieur Benet Solaire. But this is typical dance with veils, this is called. The reflection of the light. So there you can probably see it better. Dance with veils. And this one is Woman with a Fan. If I walk along a little further. This one painted in 1908. It's called Friendship. And a little further on, there's one which seems to have no label on at all. And a great strip light across the middle of it. Let's turn around the corner. This is called Composition with a Skull. Would you buy it for £200, let alone several million? That will give you some idea of the size of the place. But we have been very lucky today. There are no cruise ships in today, so it's been really quiet. Relatively speaking. Every now and then a big group would go past, usually Italians or Chinese. But some of the galleries are just completely empty.